Caraway and George Torres III are the masterminds behind an awesome web technology platform called Percuss.io. And what brings us together is our common love for sound slice. You may remember that I interviewed Adrian Holovati, the founder of SoundSlice, back in February 2016. And that kind of got things started behind the scenes for the both of us. And we just recently started messaging because I've been coming across their viral videos that have like millions and millions of views. And they're really technical, really awesome videos that I never would have expected to blow up the way that they did. But I did notice that they've been using SoundSlice for some time, so I reached out, and it turns out our relationship goes a little longer than my faulty brain had remembered. So Eric and George, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm really excited to share about Percuss.io.
Well, thank you for having us. Yeah, we're really glad to be here. And actually so actually how we met, how it initially goes back is your website. I came across it when I was, doing research on SoundSlice, and noticed that, your website is open sourced and it's on GitHub. And I'm a web developer. So, I was able to go through it and kind of, I think what I did is added the favicon, like the little icon up at the, top of the browser window. And so it was cool. I got to do a pull request, and we kind of, hit it off that way. And then coincidentally, we, touched base about a week ago. And yeah, we're really excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, so can you tell the world a little bit about yourselves and what brought you guys together to start this website?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. That's a cool story, yeah. So I'm the content and community manager for Percuss.io, and I know Eric back from just our music background, and I recently had moved down to San Antonio, and he was telling me about this project that he was kind of starting up and how it's been his passion project, and he was really trying to get it off the ground and make it live and make it a real living, breathing thing. And when he was telling me about it, it sounded like it was going to take off, and I was totally about it. And so he kind of recruited me in, and I was sold ever since, and that's kind of how I started with Eric. And Eric can go further as far as how he actually created this brainchild of Percuss.io.
Yeah, so my background, I'm a musician and a web developer. So web development is my second career. My first career was as a high school band director here in Texas. So taught music in the public school for about 8 years, and then always had this second passion, which was, programming. So decided to make an industry change from full-time music teaching to web development. But I knew that I always wanted to eventually do work that combined those two passions. So technology, programming, development with music, and specifically music education. So Percuss.io, I actually bought the domain back in 2014, not exactly sure what it would be at the time. It was initially a place for portfolio projects, and but yeah, it eventually grew to be, a brand and now an online percussion education platform, and specifically also all the stuff we do on social media, which has probably gotten the most attention.
Tum ta di gi na tum ta di gi na to ta di gi na to ta di gi na to ta di gi na tum ta di gi na tum ta di gi na tum ta di gi na to ta di gi na to ta di gi na tum ta di gi na to ta di gi na to ta di gi na to ta di gi na tum ta di gi na tum ta di gi na tum ta di ta ka dum 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 ka di ta ka dum ka di ta ka dum ka di ta ka dum.
Yeah, so can you tell a little about that story where you where your videos just completely exploded unexpectedly?
The first viral video, so the first video to do over 1 million views was your friend Terry.
Yeah, my friend Terry Gerald. It was this super unconventional, like, combination of literally onion powder in a container and chili powder in a container, and it was this weird kind of like shaker thing. It was like a minute long, but again, like you said, it was unexpected. We posted it because we thought it was fun and that it would be cool. And sure enough, within it was probably like 72 hours, we had over 1 million views. And we were like, well, I guess this is what the people want.
Yeah. So we use SoundSlice for that. So she's doing, 16ths in the right hand and like a 3/2 clave with some like treches, like the spices. So it's like condiment shaker things. And but yeah, we transcribed it all, notated it out, synced it with SoundSlice, and that's like it just really got attention because it was weird and it was a bit nerdy at the same time because we went through the trouble of doing a transcription. Yeah. From there, we had just lots of people reaching out on our social media channels and a lot of collaborations then. Because we had that one initial piece of viral content, that gave us a lot more opportunities because people, reached out to the page, said, I'd love to do something similar with, videos that I have if you're willing to transcribe it.
Yeah.
It's cool that you use the word nerdy because what you're doing is very nerdy. I mean, you're taking extremely complex, not in every video, but in many cases, like the conical music that you've featured, lots of time signatures, very intricate, groupings of notes. And I've seen some of the videos where somebody's replicating the spoken music or the sung music on quad drums, and that's very technical, and each drum is, being lit up, and I was like, wow, just as someone who appreciates really complex music and somebody who has spent a lot of time with SoundSlice, I'm like, this takes a lot of very nerdy work to to make it happen.
Yeah, and you would think that because it is so it's brainy, and it's kind of a niche thing. We never would have expected such a large audience. So I think some of that is like shock and awe. People are seeing something for the first time that they've never seen before. It's curiosity and it's educational too. Like if we can do something that like brings those things together, like makes people really curious, inspired. But at the same time, like teaches them something. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about some of the feedback you've gotten from people who, you kind of blew their minds. This was a new discovery for them.
Wow. I think like showing people conical for the first time has been really just really rewarding. It's a tradition. It's an Indian musical tradition of vocal percussion that has been around for millennia, for thousands of years. And but it's like mass appeal and exposure here in the West is something I think that's very recent. Mm-hmm. So one of the first people to reach out since that first viral video was a gentleman named Manjunath. He sent us a video and it's like I'd love to do something together, and I asked him, I'm like, I would love to do a notation sync video of this, but is there any chance you could provide some notation? Like this is very complex. I wasn't about to like go down the path of starting to transcribe it.
Right.
And there was a breakdown there because that that musical tradition is entirely oral. Like
Yeah.
it's learned by ear. It's learned. It's passed down from a
Right.
guru, like from teacher to student through just memorization, and so it's not written out. And so that was an opportunity to do something where I was like, oh, okay. So if we can find a way to put this into Western music notation. It helps those of us that are maybe not familiar with the very complex, mathematically based rhythmic patterns. It's a way for us to if we are better at reading music notation to, have a deeper understanding of it. So, began a transcription that took months to get across the finish line, but once we did it, blew up.
Yeah, immediate payoff for sure.
Of course.
So I wanted to hear a little bit from you, how it has impacted you, how what they are doing has impacted you personally and professionally, and with respect to music and what you think they're doing, bringing Kanakal to broad audience.
Yeah, like it. Just to go a little bit of get into the history. It was me because I went into it was exactly 1 year ago, last September. And I just sent them a message like, hey guys, I'm doing stuff. Would you be interested to transcribe in what I do? Because transcribe from my videos, I would say, yeah, it is correct because I don't understand what you do. It looks very interesting, because I always thought the things that I was doing is more fascinating for people who could read staff notation, staff notation that was scrolling with the video. That was the first time I saw. I was like, oh my god, holy shit, this is really cool, And then I just told him, and then he said, okay, send me over. Of course, Eric, no? Eric is the one whom I was talking to. And I just sent him a random thing, and it 6.5 million views, It's like, I don't know, really, what is that,
It's incredible.
I've never seen 1 million views in my videos, hundreds of thousands, but million was the first time I got. And then, of course, a lot of people started approaching me, and then for classes, and then if I could come over and then do stuff with them, and then Percuss.io has impacted a lot on what I do, and then also I've started kind of material. So there are a lot of videos which I do, thinking of them in my mind.
Do you feel that they have expanded your options in terms of, I have new ideas of how this could be notated, or I might do something. I saw the Fibonacci sequence video and I thought, that's amazing because there's never been music. So are you thinking out of the box now and open to new options? Are you providing them with those kinds of crazy ideas?
Well, I just throw a bunch of things to them, and then they just pick it up, whichever they find it interesting, But certainly, they are doing harder job than I'm doing, because I just put a video camera there, and I do my stuff, and then get it done within 10 minutes. But things that they do takes weeks sometimes, because the Fibonacci thing, I think it took more than 2 weeks for them to do it, because it's not easy to do. I've never seen something like that in my life, this kind of this spiral notation, Then I went and saw there were a lot of spiral, this one, but it was not used for the musical notation. So, and then now, of course, I'm thinking recently, 2 days ago, I did a video with a girl. I'm kind of over ambitious now, trying to send them whatever I do, which I shouldn't do now. It's not good, because they should also do other stuff, not just do Konokol, You see that there are a lot of Konokol videos now in Percuss.io. But it's good in a way. It's good. It's very clearly notated, so people at the same time have to be very careful, But they've been doing an amazing job. I'm really impressed.
Since it's an oral tradition, what you're doing, people that see anything that you're doing in a negative light, in terms of you're formalizing this, it's not supposed to be this way, or has everyone been very supportive?
To be honest with you, I don't care.
That's the best answer.
The more I care, the less creative I'll get. So I just let my imagination go wild, and then there are a lot of really bad stuff, like really no taste, nothing. But I just keep trying, and then that makes like maybe like for the first time, if the traditional people they think oh maybe it's all bullshit rubbish, but once like everyone starts looking, it's normal like when your own people don't recognize you, when somebody from the outside recognizes you, then they start valuing you more than before. And I think that's what has happened with a lot of people. But I would say like I have got a lot of friends and fans in India too, so they have all been just positive about what I do. Though I say I don't care, of course, because there are a small number of people who are always don't like what you do. It's with everyone, even the biggest of the biggest, they had that. So who am I? I'm the smallest little drop in the ocean. So, but still, there are a lot of people who more than people who dislike what I do. I think there are magnanimously more people who like what I do. So I would say, yeah, people are turning around back again towards me. So it's a good thing.
That's fantastic. And what would you say to anyone who is inspired by what you do, but they don't quite know, how to get further into it? It looked like you were running some training sessions. Do you have video series or anything like that people can learn from?
This is also, there are a lot of things in the pipeline I'm really thinking of, but again, like it's not like just like what I do, like a phone on the window and just do a video. It cannot be so easy, So you need to do more of physical work than your mental work. Whatever I have been doing all these days has been just my mental work, and purely depending on how far my creative talent ability can go. So, but this one requires more technical side of it also. So I need to get a team.
And one last question: how much do you have to practice to do something like the Fibonacci sequence? Like counting to 21, doing complicated stuff that you're doing, whether you're subdividing or not, like that had to have taken months of preparation in my mind.
Well, that particular video maybe it took about 3-4 days for me to prepare. Mm-hmm. But I think the whole musical system is such, the music system that I am coming from is called as Carnatic music. Mm-hmm. It's South Indian classical music. So it already has most of the ingredients that especially to understand anything that's going on rhythmically, Carnatic rhythms are really one of the best things, like a best tool for a musician to have. So I would say like I keep preparing all the time mentally, but a particular thing, prepare like trying to tell a story or something like that. So especially that Fibonacci video, it came from my father. I was 12 years old when he talked to friends of mine from, especially one particular friend from Italy. He explained me what was Fibonacci series, and then my father was dying, and then I was watching Discovery Channel, and then that day some Fibonacci thing was going on, so I was like, I should show it to my father. So I prepared a little thing, and then I went and tried to show it to him, but the same afternoon he passed away without even listening to it.
Oh my goodness.
So so it was for him, not even for Facebook or anything. Wow. And then after 1 week after he passed away, I thought like maybe I should prepare it better, and then I just put it on the Facebook, and then Percus.io, they picked it up and then they did it. So now you see it's become a huge thing. I think there is some truth in it because my father is inside that composition.
Well, I'm very sorry for the loss of your father, but what a tribute to him, and what an amazing thing to come out of that event.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Sure.
Ta di tom nam tarigida daga ta di tom nam tarigida daga ta di tom nam tarigida daga ta
धी तुम नम तरिकटतम ता धी तुम नम तरिकटतम ता धी तुम नम तरिकटतम
tom nam tarigida ta di tom nam tarigida ta di tom nam tarigida
तद्धितुम नम तरिकटतम तद्धितुम नम तरिकटतम तद्धितुम नम तरिकटतम
Absolutely. I saw, well, the most recent one that I saw was, it's funny, I had seen that video outside of your sound slice notation. And there's a young woman and an older guy who are singing together on the steps on this awesome YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of the channel. Do you know it?
Madrasana.
Yes. What an awesome channel. But this woman, she's like hitting her hand on her thigh in quarter notes, and it kind of gives you a sense of what's happening, but then you realize, oh, she's like, then she's going into 7, then she's going into 5, and what she's singing is like almost completely separate. There's that real independence going on, and then they come back together, and then you hear the two singers doing it in unison. And when I watched that video, I thought, oh my goodness, this is really, really rich music. And then to see your transcription, knowing that this stuff is orally passed on, I can't even imagine the effort that that you had to go through to make this happen. Thank goodness you have a music education background.
Well, Amir actually,
Yeah, dude, he's the real unsung hero on that project. You know, I mean, you can kind of go into more detail, but yeah, the actual quad player, you know, the work that he put in to actually making that happen is, I would say, almost unprecedented for something like that, because it's so unique.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So he learned it to do a cover video, and this is before we combined our transcription. And we'd known each other through Instagram, and I had seen his work, and he had seen mine, and our stuff, and we knew we like wanted to work together at one point. And I remember he posted something on his Instagram feed, and maybe he'd finished up a project and was looking to start a new project, and he's like, what sort of cover videos should I do next? And I commented immediately in the thread and was like, Conical, you need to go check out Conical. Yeah. And I think a week later he posted his first Conical and Quads video. Mm-hmm. So he learned it within the in a span of a week. And when I went to him afterwards and was like, you transcribed all of this before you like played it, right?
No. It's just
he memorized it. He memorized it, and the video is not like edited and choppy.
It's not spliced
at
all.
It's done in one take.
That's awesome.
Over 4 minutes of Conical and Quads on one take.
Yeah, and it's accurate. Like, it's rhythmically together. And to have his background is, similar to ours. He's been through, the college music situation, teaching music, doing drum corps. We've got shared DCI, drum corps history. All of that stuff is taught on paper. And to be able to learn that much music in this totally different style.
Yeah, totally. I mean, unconventional to us out here, in the U.S. Just incredible. Truly a feat.
So he was able to provide a transcription of his part. The syllable transcription, there's a pianist composer based in Paris that I was able to track down that had done a transcription of the syllables. Sebastian Gaxi, I think is his name. And I reached out to him. I'd already kind of got the ball rolling with Amir. So I was able to bring those things together, get them into Sound Slice, added art component of the light up drums, like the red and blue for the right and left hands. Did that video, and it again went viral, and we actually were able to publish a really clean, in addition to the sound slice video, like a really clean PDF transcription as well. Was able to get like professional manuscript preparation done by another friend of ours, Bill, and yeah, it's cool to like bring people together for these collaborative projects.
Absolutely. Now, can you talk a little about the success of the site and the fact that you have blown up, and what have been some of the growth needs, the challenges, the exciting parts? I want to hear the ups and downs of something growing to the size of what you've gotten, and you're on a great trajectory.
Yeah. Do you remember any specific numbers, like specifically from Facebook, like views, followers?
Oh yeah, I mean we weren't even in 5 figures yet. You know, like probably February of 2017, I think, is when we hit like 1,000
followers.
Yeah, followers on Facebook, and I mean that was kind of a cool like thing, you know. But I mean, like I wouldn't say there was really traction quite yet.
Yeah,
you know, it was slowly getting there, little by little.
Yeah. So one of the challenges has been just like for this, what is began as a side project, a passion project, is that like progress is not linear, not by any means. It comes in like fits and starts, and there's moments of mad inspiration and productivity and being able to do tons of transcription videos, and on my end, development work on website stuff behind the scenes. And then there can be long stretches of kind of the opposite, where things are, it doesn't really feel like the project's making a lot of progress. But I think, zooming out far enough, and we're able to kind of see progress.
Yeah.
But continue to stay motivated and maintain that feeling of momentum for the project.
Yeah.
That's been a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to think about it, is once you have that momentum, actually being able to continue to sustain it over that long period of time, instead of getting a viral video and then kind of plateauing for a little bit, and then, okay, yeah, we get another spike and something else that takes interest in the community, And so just understanding, I guess, the ebbs and flow of that entire process, being on a social platform, and understanding that this Percuss.io thing is kind of new to our drumming community, as well as just from a social standpoint.
Yeah.
And how do you have some sort of like a paid learning platform, or how do you generate any money from what you do?
Generating money, yes. So that's been a challenge, right? Because the majority, like the vast majority, we have nearly 80,000 followers on the Facebook page. And, what percentage of those people will go to the actual website, percuss.io, and, sign up to use this percussion education platform, which right now for, a while has been in this kind of beta stage, preview stage. We are launching a version 2 of that very soon. But right now it's been largely, everything's kind of free. It's been largely a passion project, but it's something that, we do want to do more of. And, my goal is to be able to do this, within a few years, hopefully full time. So that's been a challenge, where my skills are in, the technical side of things and the music side of things, knowing about how to do a business plan and how to do marketing and stuff like that. That's just a challenge because I don't know as much about it.
And to kind of add on to that, a lot of this came from a shared vision of, we want people to go and experience what this is, to have it educational, because there's so many areas, not just in Texas, but all over, that they don't have that extra lesson teacher. They don't have that specific instructor to give you that attention that you need in the classroom or individually. And so we started by making this free to the masses because that's, genuinely what we wanted to do. And that was a huge part of Eric starting this in the first place, is how do we get these resources accessible to literally anybody? Pull out a phone, doom, like you're done,
I hear you. I know some of those challenges, having my own passion project and hoping it reaches people. It's a tough time right now because content marketing is it's been this great strategy, but there's so much saturation in it now that it's hard to rise above. And so that's what I think is amazing about what you guys have done with your videos. You seem to have a way to rise above what everyone else is doing in a fairly frequent way. So, kudos to you. That's awesome. So can you tell me about this hyperdrive illuminated vibraphone project that you have going on?
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so this duo, right, by the name of Team Islas, is two people. It's a married couple living out in Plano, which is in the Dallas area. Patricia Ann Islas, as well as Doug Bush. And Patricia is the vibraphone player, and Doug does all the drums and percussion part of it. And the inspiration of this whole thing when they first released their album back in 2008 was that they wanted to eradicate the stereotypes of keyboard percussion and to make it into this musical platform that is intellectual yet accessible for everybody to enjoy and to listen to. And so specifically with this project, the Hyperdrive project, it's this new album that they're now creating that's going to be released pretty soon in the future. And the
concept album.
It's definitely a concept album with the overarching idea that it's a dystopian future and it's about a girl and her vibraphone saving the universe.
It's awesome.
You know,
It's awesome.
which and it makes it awesome. And the sounds that are incorporated are incredible. Go check out the YouTube video if you haven't yet. It's on the page and it's really awesome. And it's truly a combination between the vibraphone. There's a xylosynth and a bass guitar with drums in the back, and just the entire thing. This 4-minute piece is pretty incredible. But yeah, what makes that unique? What I guess kind of stood out to us whenever communication started back on Instagram, it was one like to the other like, and it was like, hey, this is actually really cool. And the perspective of the vibraphone being a bird's eye view was so key to that. Like, not only did they have this awesome, kind of music that's never been done before or just in a completely different light, but to add that perspective is pretty unique considering it's keyboard percussion. Most of those videos that you see of a keyboardist playing is usually a front view in front of the keyboard or at some kind of angle. And so, I think that gave us a really cool opportunity to, again, add the light up keys to the vibraphone because it was such an incredible view.
Yeah. So keyboard percussion, marimba, vibraphone, xylophone, it's a very visual instrument. We talk about the guitar being a shape instrument. In a similar way, keyboard percussion is a shape instrument, and you rely a lot in learning music and memorization on what things look like on the keyboard. And so the technology that we've developed to light up the bars as the performer plays from a first-person point of view video, like a bird's eye video with the camera mounted above the keyboard instrument, it makes it way more educational, and students who, maybe we've got, all state audition etudes or, different pieces of marimba literature. We've been able to shoot these videos from that perspective, add the overlays, and then put it into Sound Slice so that it can be, slowed down to a practice tempo, looped small sections at a time, and importantly, click anywhere in the sheet music to see that part of the video. So it's combining all of those technologies to make something that we feel is educational.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. I'm sure you, as a former band instructor turned programmer, have had to go through a lot of challenges in learning how to do this. Can you talk about, can you get somewhat technical in your approach on this, and kind of approaches that didn't work, or what you had to go through to get to where it did work?
Yeah, so it's been for a long time. I've wanted to figure out how to do these kind of animations, and it began, I don't know, years ago with paper flashcard style things of the keyboard instrument, the vibraphone. I would learn chord voicings with flashcards of pictures of the keyboard instrument and filling in the notes that would be played. And you can do kind of stop motion animation with that. From there, found out some different, presentation technologies that, can trigger different images with MIDI. And then in, 2007 or so, I switched over to the Mac ecosystem and learned about kind of the IAC bus, which is a way to share a MIDI connection between different pieces of software. So if I'm doing driving MIDI with Sibelius, or driving MIDI with Pro Tools, or even GarageBand, I can run that into VJ software that responds to MIDI, or what I've used for a long time is a tool called Quartz Composer, which is a node-based visual programming language. So wiring together different things, if you've used Maxim SP or those sorts of node-based tools. So yeah, it's a way of wiring up a MIDI connection. The MIDI and the audio are synchronized, and then the visual overlays are done via MIDI. There's recordings that happen from there, and then overlays happen in post-production with video editing tools, and kind of a green screen effect. So it's lots and lots.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Lots and lots of pieces wired together, and some of it's really just hacky and not glamorous, but it works.
That's how most code is. As a software development manager for the last 10 or 12 years, I can attest. That's a norm. So what I think is really great is that you've got Eric, who's doing a lot of technical work, and George, who's doing the community work. And I'm just making an assumption there based on what I've heard. I've found in my own work and in speaking to a lot of musicians, that community manager role is so key, but we don't know how to do it, how to find someone who knows how to do it, and how to keep people engaged. So, George, would you mind talking a bit about community engagement, what that means for musicians or music-related content, particularly using social media, so that musicians might be able to glean some useful information to promote what they're trying to do?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think this kind of goes back to when we first started back in February. We were kind of determining, how do we want to split up this thing between us two as far as whenever somebody sends us something, what do we want to do with that? And I think what's really cool is like, even though I kind of have that title, we still both share a lot of the same responsibilities as far as reaching out to people or posting something on Facebook or on the Instagram, and kind of getting it so that way it looks great on those platforms. But I think it's about finding those relationships from people that in all different kinds of aspects, So with me personally, like, yes, I do this thing at Percuss.io, but, I'm still teaching all over the state, and Eric's background, when he was a music educator, he has almost like a different generation of people that he could also reach out to, or that he can, create videos to kind of target in that sense. And so I think, in my opinion, in that community role, finding those relationships and being able to kind of expose them to what this is and to just stay in contact with those people and being able to continue to work on those projects, I think is key, And I think, obviously, like, Eric has played a big part in that as well. I definitely don't take credit for just that single role.
Yeah.
Like it's all team based, I think, a majority of the time,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Go ahead, Eric, please.
Oh, I was making it's a really good point that it's very relationship driven. I mean, sure, there's a lot of great technical stuff going on under the hood, and the music is awesome, but of the music, of the technology, and of the relationships that we've been able to build with people, and the people that we've met across the world. I include you in that group. The people that we've met from, like, collaborating and doing just different projects together, that's been the most rewarding part. Is to make those friends,
Yeah, it's incredibly challenging. I mean, I have a small fraction of your audience, and just to think, how do you keep up? Like, I have like 40, 50 unread messages, and I look at it, it's overwhelming. And for a site that's your size, the fact that you're able to keep up with people is amazing. So my hat is off to you. It's amazing. So can you talk about the future plans for the site? What you mentioned, version 2. What does that mean, and what are you guys looking at for the rest of 2018?
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So currently we're kind of we're doing quite literally like a retreat summit right now, and kind of like blocking out this weekend of time to just focus on Percuss.io. And in the immediate future, we have, again, like you're saying, like this version 2 coming out of the site. But there's kind of two things that are coming out of it. We're having an official marketing site just for Percuss.io, so that way people can actually have a very concise and very appealing way to see how Percuss.io works and what people can do to get their content on our platform. And on the opposite side of that, we're now going to have like a learn.percuss.io, where we can have people go over to actually use it as an educational resource for us. So I mean, that's like the most exciting thing right now that's happening in our immediate future. And I mean, Eric can talk about the future plans as far as content that we're looking to do and collaborations with organizations and artists.
Yeah, like the marching percussion part of what we do that's a large part of our audience. There's a lot of people that we connect through. That's how we're connected.
Yeah.
We were in a DCI organization called the Cavaliers. Although our ages are 11 years apart, so we weren't in there at the same time, but that's kind of how we grew up, in our musical background. And so that marching percussion community, we're doing more work with that. In that community, the audition process is a process of getting a PDF packet of exercises and etudes and excerpts, and it's not great. We're looking to disrupt that by using SoundSlice and using our platform so that students who are auditioning for groups have better access to tools, recordings, videos, breakdown videos, synchronized with music notation through using SoundSlice, and all in one place. So we're looking to do that through the drum corps and WGI indoor drumline audition processes. We're looking to do some stuff with the Texas All-State Band audition materials. So those are two projects that were on the horizon for percussion education and what we do.
That's fantastic. And for anyone who doesn't know about DCI, it is like some of the most extreme musicianship you could imagine at the ages of people that are performing it. My friend Jim Reisky, he came from the Phantom Regiment, and he's always sending me videos, and I look at these videos, I'm like, I know like professional musicians who could not do this. These kids are like way overboard, like Frank Zappa level vibraphone players, and not only are they playing, but they're walking around and moving, and the all the choreography is just unbelievable. The DCI stuff is just mind-blowing, and every year it seems to be advancing, showing what the capabilities are of young people with instruments and time to practice. I think it's going to be really cool to see how you contribute to that furthering of human capability at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. I think that's good. That would be a big milestone for us. Is it being able to actually have that resource for a drum corps organization or for a WGI organization. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I missed a project here that is in the notes here. This one with Rich Cass and Tigran Hamasyan. I don't know how to say the names. I've read them online, but amazing musicians.
Yeah, we're familiar with the problem of name pronunciation. That's for sure. As Percuss.io, we run into all the time, like, people aren't sure how to pronounce our name.
Yeah. Percuss.io, Percussio.
Yeah. Percuss.io.
Percussio.
Yeah, that's another one. So our name comes from being, we are at the intersection of percussion and technology. And, .io is a top-level domain like .com or .org that's frequently used in the tech industry. But if you're not in the tech industry, it doesn't really land. People might think we're like percussio.com, and no.
Right.
No. So Tigran Hamasyan, which I think...
Yep.
Yeah. And Rich Cass. So Rich is a drummer that we've collaborated with on a number of projects. He's just exceptional at polyrhythms and really complex time signature changes, just feats of coordination between all four limbs on the drum set.
Yeah.
Being able to do stuff that has, ostinatos in his feet, or ostinati in his feet, and just different melodic things going on in his hand. It's unconventional drumming. And so this most recent project is a cover he did of Tigran's, it's called What the Waves Brought, and it's piano with beatbox. And Rich transcribed all of that and made a drum set part for it. And so we worked together to get that into Sound Slice, and did our process of doing the notation synchronization recordings, and released it on our social media channels.
Yeah.
Windows is telling me important updates are pending. Thank you very much, Windows. Sorry for that interruption. That's really cool. And they are incredible players. Rich on the drums, Tigran on the piano. So are there going to be more projects with those guys?
Dude, if they're willing, absolutely. You know, and
speaking of monster drummers that are outside of the box, have you worked with Terry Bozzio at all on any of the visual stuff, or does he know about your platform?
No, I don't think so.
I doubt it, no.
But we really admire his work, and I'm most inspired by him as somebody who's been able to use the drum set as a solo instrument through using melody and harmony and coordination and several parts going on at the same time. So as opposed to the drum set being in its traditional role as an accompanimental thing or just timekeeping, Terry Bozzio as a solo drum set performer, actual compositions. If we could transcribe one of his videos and do that would.
Yeah. And actually last night I was listening to the video that you had, that phone interview that you had with him a few years back, and I think what I took away from it was just the perspective that he has when he's actually playing, and how it's just a sense of calmness, because it's at such a high level for him, and everything around him it's just different, and so being able to have him outside looking in is whoa, this thing is incredible, it's crazy. But to him, it's not like that at all. It's quite the opposite. And I thought that was a very interesting perspective that he has, because that's something I would have never thought about him, as he's actually playing.
Right. Well, thanks for checking that out. Awesome. So for people who want to find out more about your site, who want to check out your videos, how do you want to instruct them to find out more?
Yeah. So probably three things. One are our social media platforms. So we're Instagram is just percuss.io. On Facebook, it's percuss.io software. So connect with us on social media. Like, share, follow. That helps just gain exposure. And then we have a lot of content on SoundSlice channels, which is a relatively new feature of SoundSlice. It's community driven, where people can share their work. So we are, the premier percussion content creator on that platform. So connect with us there and check out SoundSlice while you're at it. And then thirdly, our website. So it's just percuss.io. There, within the next couple weeks, we'll have the new marketing site up that has, clear explanation of who we are and what we do and how to work together. And we also have the learning platform as well, where you can sign up with your email address and have access to every project we've ever done. We embed the SoundSlice videos there and have them cataloged and organized by, categories you can search, and so both of those things are updated versions are rolling out soon.
Very cool. I really want to thank you guys for not only being here, but for doing what you do. The internet is such a powerful platform, obviously, but it seems sometimes to be commandeered by business interests. And to see what you guys are doing, bringing real technical music education to the forefront and introducing people to new music, that's, to me, that really is such a special thing. So I'm really glad you're doing what you're doing. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for keeping on, because there are days where I feel like giving up, and you guys are doing it right. So, and I'm sure you face those times too. So yeah, thank you again, and I look forward to seeing what you guys end up doing in the future.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
It's
Thanks for
truly been
having
a
us.
pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.